Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Toriel. I have Will Siegel right next to me, and guess what? He is a new member. Thrilled to have him on board and part of the team. He's also our resident dio maker, as well as dio makers that is freelance. For any of you guys that are watching and require his services, I highly recommend Will. I mean, in fact, I think the one thing that was really cool when you made my dio was that you there was a lot of attention to detail, and we got on the phone and we discussed the designs, So I think compared to a lot of dio makers out there that churn through lots of things on the production line, Will has a tendency to kind of like get quite specific about what exactly you want and what you need. So this is sort of like his initiation. We're currently in Brisbane, and we're in a hotel room, and there are three lads playing with toys. All right, I'll let you start. Tell me exactly what's on the table for you, and what are your top three figures for the month, or shall I say flavor of your month?
So it's all Star Wars.
Yep.
And they're all the 6-inch Black Series.
Mm-hmm.
The favorite pickup of the month would have to be the Purge Trooper. I just love the aesthetics and the glossy black and red with these guys, and I'm a huge fan of the Airborne Trooper helmet.
That's in a video game, right?
Yeah, it's in the new video game that's just come out, Jedi Fallen Order. I love troopers, and these guys just look really imposing and awesome. So it's definitely my favorite.
Be really cool if you could army build. Do you thinking maybe buying several like me?
I do have two at the moment. I think that's all I need at the moment.
Yeah.
But actually, in the game they have these electro staves.
Yeah.
And I want to try and make some custom staves for these guys, because I think that'd be cool.
Yeah. So next figure?
So next figure, second favorite would probably have to be this Ceremony Luke, 6-inch Black Series again. It's one of the only Lukes that we haven't seen in the 6-inch. So it's pretty good to get him, and that is the regular release. There is an exclusive. Yeah, it comes with the little training ball and the blast shield helmet.
I think there was initially some apprehension about the sculpt. I mean, some of the images that I saw circulating online, they're a bit strange.
Yeah, the early product shots didn't look that great.
Look that great, yeah.
But they definitely are.
But I'm actually really impressed.
It looks pretty decent.
Yeah, really impressed by Hasbro and their efforts recently. They seem to have like stepped up the whole
photoreal.
Photoreal, that's right. Yeah.
They still haven't quite nailed the Mark Hamill likeness.
Yeah.
No company has really. I think SH Figure Arts have probably got the closest. They're definitely getting better.
They're getting better.
Especially the Jedi Luke, the GameStop exclusive or Zing exclusive in Australia. That does look very good.
Yeah. Cool. Third one,
Wedge. It's really awesome to finally get Wedge.
Yeah.
It is a reuse of the X-Wing Luke Black Series, but that's actually not too bad because Mark Hamill and Dennis are roughly the same height, so that's not too bad that they actually reuse the bodies. But then it is using the photo reel on his face, which looks really good. It's really spot on.
And that does look actually really nice with the helmet on. Yeah,
It's
spot
on with the helmet on.
Yeah, absolutely. I initially I was like helmet off, and the problem in the movie is you don't actually see him with the helmet off, except maybe
in Return of the Jedi when they were all coming with the.
Correct. So. Cool. All right. Well, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm really pumped as well. You grabbed me 2 of these figures this week.
Yeah.
And thanks for doing that. But for some reason, I just can't find them in New South Wales. So, cool. So let's move on to my pickups. I've had these now, I'd say probably the last 3 months. I bought them and then I had to wait for them to arrive.
Yeah, no, that's...
So it took them a while to actually arrive from the States. But He-Man Masters Universe Classics by Mattel. And the reason why I picked this figure is because I love the Conan look, right? There's a certain likeness to it, and I think he's in the universe he's called Vicor. You'll see several little accessories that I've added. You can see like a little necklace here, a bag, and then several bones here as well. That is something I pinched from the NECA Predator figures. So I added those additional bits, right? I saw this figure actually at Logos Collectibles in Melbourne, and then I just went, man, no brainer, because it looks so good. So anyway, the likeness to Conan was probably why I bought the figure, and then I thought I could also mix and match with the Mythics, and maybe include him in I think House of the Noble Bear, which is a faction of Mythic Legions. So I could easily fit this in that universe. I really like this head here, which is a custom made and sculpted by a guy called Kurt Daniels. And I used this particular figure in that new cinematograph that we're about to put out. Yeah. Then the other pickups I have, there's so much to love about the Mythic stuff. The Templar Knights are very popular for any Mythic Legions collectors. And the reason why I like this particular figure is, just the size, the bulk, the weight. I mean, you felt the weight.
It's probably of equal weight to all these three guys combined. Like, it's a solid figure. It's like it feels like a real toy.
A real toy.
Like a real adult toy.
And there's something about just, for example, even that. If you look at that head on there, it just looks phenomenal, right?
And they all would suit that.
Yeah.
If you have a bunch of these guys, they look amazing. They're very well painted.
These are the version 1 Templar Knights, which means that there's less weathering and decor and trimmings. And like, for example, the version 2 Templar Knights, I think they have like gold trims. So this one I bought off a guy which was secondhand from the US, and I noticed that with the version 1 Templars, they are less detailed. And then my third favorite from the Mythics line, look, that's the thing. There's so many figures in that line that could easily make it my top 3 pickups or anything like that. But these guys are just initially when people when this figure came out, they thought it was a bit small, a bit slender. The one thing I will say is some of these custom heads won't really necessarily fit the figure particularly well because of its small frame. So the heads end up looking quite large on the body. But that reverse helmet and the armor. And I actually got that mace. So this doesn't come with the figure. There are a whole bunch of other accessories that come with the figure, but this mace just looked good on it. So imagine a whole bunch of steel knights, like maybe a squad of them, and then this guy is like the leader, the squad leader, and then he has this different mace, and this looks amazing.
They're really great. I've been looking at Mythic Legions, and especially after making that, the castle dio.
Yeah. So what do you think?
That is great.
Just now that you're touching one in the flesh, do you think it's worth the money? Do you think something that you might start looking into and collecting?
Definitely at like a retail price, which is an issue with the Four Horsemen figures because a lot of them are so popular that they inflate in the aftermarket and things that it's really hard to get a hand of them. So your best bet is to stay on top of the pre-orders.
Yeah, I think that's the only worthwhile way of actually getting them.
Yeah.
They are very pricey.
And the end of year sale.
So I have to say, give a massive shout out to, for example, Kurt Daniels. Now, some of these heads won't go with the body, but I just want to swap the heads over so that you can see how nicely sculpted these heads are. They're just phenomenal, fantastic. That has to be one of my favorites. But yeah, check him out, Kurt Daniels. Yeah, cool. Those are our figures. No doubt, I think they will change every month. I don't know, anything that you're thinking that you might get or aiming for during Christmas or after Christmas?
Mythic Legions.
Yeah, definitely.
That's definitely...
Templar and Steel Knights on the cards?
Yes, these guys, the Steel Knights are one of my favourite sculpts.
Yeah.
They just look really cool. And the Knights as well, they look awesome. I definitely do want some Knights.
So even with the smallest head, you can see how the head's just still way too big.
Yep.
So, that's a bit of a shame. But, look, I think these Steel Knights are meant to be just troopers or army builders. Yeah, they look nice.
Fill out their ranks.
Yeah, they're very slender, but they kind of look really nice, like very mercenary looking.
They've got such an intricate and detailed sculpt. They're really well sculpted. They look really good.
You know what'd be really cool? If you added some weathering to these.
Yeah, I could definitely tell because some of the it looks like the leather straps there are actually casted in the silver paint.
Yep.
So I think definitely a black wash would bring this
figure to life.
Yeah. And some of the details, they'd look really good in gold around the trimmings of the armor, maybe the shoulder pads, some of the extra details on the chest and waist.
True.
I think that would look really cool.
Yep. What we'll do is we'll clear the table. I'll put all these figures down. You got something really, really cool to show us, and it's something that you've been working on. So
this is what I've currently been working on. It's an entry for a competition.
Nice.
It's for the Diorama Creators Fallout Challenge.
Yep.
So the idea was to make a nuclear wasteland type dio, and I wanted to do something that no one else would really think of. And that's like a 2-in-1, a top level and then a bottom level on top of each other. Yep. I guess you could take this tree off. This is just pegged in with these wires. It's made out of wire, this tree.
And I think it's really well done, by the way.
Yeah.
The fact that you can secure it and make it look like it's actually coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
The roots and stuff.
That's what I was going for.
Yeah, really cool. Just for argument's sake, can we just take a 6-inch figure, maybe Luke or something, just put it on top and just see how it scales?
So it would definitely work, I think, for 6-inch, maybe if you take the tree off.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a large overgrown tree either.
Yeah.
It can still scale with 112.
Yeah, that's right. It could just be like a small dead tree.
Exactly.
I wanted to sort of make it for 112 scale, but more of a display piece, because it is an entry for a competition. I've made these props down on the bottom level here.
Yep.
I could remake those for different scales. I'd be happy to do that.
So shall we just take that? I mean, you're saying that you can make it for 1/18th, or you can make it for
I could do it for 3 3/4.
3 3/4 as well. Yeah. Tell us quickly a bit about the barrels, man, because I really dig those.
Yeah, well, I've had them for so long, and they were always unpainted, and I've had them aside. This was a really good opportunity to make this dio pop a little bit more with the accessories.
You know what I love? This crate looks phenomenal, man.
I definitely want to make more of those.
Yeah, I love the crate. I even love everything about this die. I love the pillars. I love the fact that there's massive chunks out of the pillars. Yeah. The flooring is awesome. Everything about it. I love it. I think you've done a wonderful job. Okay, so now that we've seen a dio that you've made, let's talk a bit about the process. Okay.
Yeah. Well, it all starts out as XPS insulation foam board. That's the best stuff you can use for dio making. It comes in all different colors depending on where you live. I know in the States, the most popular one is the pink stuff called Formula, and they also get the blue stuff, but we get the yellow stuff.
And is the difference purely just color, or?
Basically, yeah. There's sometimes they're a little bit harder.
Yeah.
This stuff that we get in Australia is a little bit harder than the pink stuff the guys in the US get.
Okay. Which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, it has its advantages because it takes texture a little bit better because the pink stuff might bounce back a little bit more.
Sure. So you want to tell us quickly about how you did the top and then...
Yeah.
Yep.
So the top is basically using a crackle paste, and what that is you spread it thickly all over the dio, and then it takes up to like 24 hours to dry, and it dries like a cracked earth effect, and it's a really nice effect. It looks really cool. I basically undercoated everything with black first.
Yeah.
So it gives it some nice depth and some nice color under the cracked earth.
That's awesome. And really, texturally, it's so different from the top level, and then you look at this level here.
To get this texture effect, I used a rolled up tinfoil ball.
Wow.
That's how I texture all my brickwork and stonework.
Wow.
It's as basic as that. It's you can use real rocks, but I find that using a tinfoil ball gives some really nice texture. And it's super easy to use. Like, you don't have to go outside to find a textured rock. You probably already have some tinfoil at home.
Yep. And tell us a bit about the accessories.
Yeah, so the accessories, this little wooden crate here, it's all made out of the foam. And then this metal locker is made out of the foam as well. They're painted up, very weathered and rusty looking.
Rustic.
Yeah, and I added the sort of toxic radiation
Signage
there.
Yeah. How did you stencil Sector 19?
Yeah, so that is a stencil. I looked on the internet to try and find some nice text that I liked, and then I found one. I printed it out, glued it onto some cardstock, like thin cardboard, and then that was basically the stencil. And I stippled the black over it, just to get a nice effect.
Yeah. How did you get the wood effect? Like, you know, the grain, the wood grain. That's
It's with a wire brush. Yeah. Just go to town with it. Just keep scraping until you have some nice detail.
amazing. I mean, that really looks. That's an amazing wood grain.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Textures are there, detail is there, and yeah, fantastic. Okay, cool. So Will, awesome insight. Lovely dio. I love all the dios. I mean, look, you know, like I said, for Toriel, he's gonna be building dios for us, man, and for everyone else as well. So those keen, what's your Instagram handle?
The Diosmith on Instagram.
On Instagram. But yeah, look, stay tuned on Toriel as well, because we're gonna have lots more stuff that I'm gonna get Will to build modular dios and kits and walls and things for us, particularly when we do a lot of our cinemagraphs and also our toy photography. Thanks to Will too for being on board now. So
Very happy to be here.
yeah, cool. All right. Well, stay tuned, and thanks. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Toy Reel.